The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 99. Continuing from the previous episode, we've explored the background of the headless General Lai. Now, let's shift our focus back to the Divine Dragon Shamanic sect. At this moment, a great calamity is descending upon Liao Fengyi and his companions. The headless general swings a massive spear, smashing it down, causing stones to fly and a violent gust of wind. As the dust settles, a large crater is revealed on the rock platform. Countless rocks fall, demonstrating the formidable force of his attack. Liao Fengyi and his companions find themselves surrounded on the narrow mountain wall, with no escape. At this moment, the headless general firmly suppresses them, making their situation extremely precarious. This General Lai doesn't even have a place for his spirit to reside. Could he have turned into an undead being? Liao Fengyi generally understands General Li's background, but as a Taoist practitioner from Maoshan, he can't comprehend the idea that if the head is gone, there is no place for the spirit. Normally, without a head, the soul should have dispersed. How could he still be in battle? Kid, have you figured it out? This so-called headless general is just an empty shell. It's okay to deceive ordinary people, but fooling a mage is no joke. Even if a zombie loses its head, it's just a pile of rotting flesh. Du Xianjun just wanted to use his name to make people swear allegiance. Indeed, Master Wu Hui exposed Du Xianjun's intentions with just a few words. The fame of General Lai is what he desires. Having such a general as the commander of the Divine Dragon Shamanic sect is enough to make the enemy tremble at the mere mention. But no one knows what methods the sect leader used to make him like this, so that's how it is. As for why the headless general remains fierce even after death, that should be the key to defeating him. While a few people are contemplating, the headless general doesn't give them time for further discussion. With a swing of his spear, he charges at them once again. Just like before, with equally fierce moves, this thrust makes the mountain wall tremble, and debris scatters. Damn it, let me handle this. Forced to retreat once again, Black Fox is getting impatient. Although General Lai's background evokes sympathy, they can't keep passively taking hits. So, he raises the Spirit Fox sword and stands in front of Xiaodi and Master Wu Hui, ready to engage in a fierce battle with the headless general. Suddenly, a shout is heard from the air, and Liao Feng, without anyone noticing, has leaped behind the headless general. At this moment, he launches an attack. It turns out Liao Fengyi is more impatient than Black Fox. Taking advantage of the falling rocks from earlier, he jumped to the mountain wall and initiated an attack. Liao Fengyi's kick was full of force, and its power was evident. The headless general was sent flying more than 10 meters, crashing heavily behind everyone. This sudden change took the other three by surprise, and they all turned to look behind. Looking back was even more shocking. The helmet of the headless general immediately flew off, revealing an empty neck below. The body lay on the ground, truly a headless general. But this headless torso stood up again, brimming with killing intent. It was truly strange. He wasn't some dummy used by Du Xianjun to deceive people. Could Du Xianjun really possess such mystical abilities? Not to mention that this headless general was indeed a formidable warrior. After being knocked down by Liao Fengyi, he didn't display the valor of a brave warrior by launching a counterattack. Instead, he waved a single hand in the air, issuing a military command. They are closing in. With the command, the surrounding dead soldiers began to press forward, gradually tightening the encirclement. If we continue like this, we'll be trapped to death. These individuals may not be their match individually, but there's a saying, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. With tens of thousands of them, no matter how skilled they are, how many can they fend off? The atmosphere became tense. You guys are really weak. Just as the situation became critical, a cold and ruthless voice suddenly echoed in the air. The four turned their heads towards the source of the voice, only to see an ambush on the cliff above, where the soldiers were screaming. Then chaos ensued. The dead soldiers fell from the cliff, and the screams formed a chorus. The imminent danger of the encirclement was completely resolved. "It's the nine-headed Zhao. Why are you so late to the party? Just arrived." Among the four, except for Master Wu, who was still puzzled, the others guessed that it was the nine-headed Zhao who came to their aid. "This kind of trivial matter. I thought you guys could handle it." Sure enough, in the blink of an eye, several large dark clouds pressed down. In the dark clouds, several gigantic Jiaos were faintly visible, releasing a deliberately powerful aura that almost made Black Fox's nose crooked. "Who knew you guys were so useless?" However, this guy didn't care about Black Fox's blackened face and spoke unpleasantries. "Fighting here is unfavorable for us. There's a large lake to the north of the mountain. Go there quickly. My main body is there." Despite the arrogance, Liao Fengyi's spiritual consciousness continued to receive the nine-headed Zhou's analysis of the situation. "Leave these small fries to me." After speaking with Liao Fengyi, the nine-headed Zhou's figure suddenly pressed down, landing on the mountain wall. The nine heads behind it were imposing. Suddenly, the nine ferocious dragon heads charged towards the dead soldiers and followers, and the energy on the nine-headed Zhou's body became increasingly concentrated. Suddenly, this powerful force collided with the nine dragon heads, creating a forceful impact that surged downward. Instantly, more than half of the mountain wall was shattered. Dozens of followers were sent flying into the air. This force quickly caused extensive collapses, and more people fell from the fractured mountain wall. "Is he also from your immortal sect? His true form is the nine-headed Zhou. I just joined the battle a short while ago." Master Wu Hui was silent for a while as he observed the fierceness of the nine-headed Zhou. Liao Fengyi took the opportunity to introduce it to Master Wu Hui. "Leave it to him here. Let's break out first." However, it was not the time for detailed explanations. Engaging in a battle on someone else's territory was particularly disadvantageous for their side. "You go first." After he said this, the other three did not hesitate, jumping down from the gap that the nine-headed Zhao had just blasted open. Just as Liao Fengyi was about to jump down, he turned around and saw that the headless general was still staring at them. Seeing that everyone wanted to leave, he rushed up to intercept. Liao Fengyi hurriedly stopped and leaped forward, landing in front of the headless general. Let's talk about the headless general first. At this moment, the large spear was absent, but the iron fist was swinging towards him. In an instant, it pounded in front of Liao Fengyi. While keeping an eye on the headless general's movements, Liao Fengyi quickly grabbed the fallen spear on the ground. With a swing, the spear shaft thrust towards the headless general. However, the headless general's full-body iron armor was exceptionally tough, and he completely ignored such an attack, so the two engaged in a fierce battle. Liao Fengyi felt anxious. He didn't have time to entangle with him. If he got caught in the enemy's midst again, it would be difficult to break free. But the headless general was exceptionally fierce. His several attacks did not gain an advantage. Instead, he was forced to retreat step by step. However, after several rounds of fighting, Liao Fengyi figured out why this headless general, with only a torso remaining, could still fight. Seizing the moment when the headless general forced him to the mountain wall, Liao Fengyi suddenly leaped, the long spear in his hand raised, and fiercely stabbed into the neck of the headless general. As expected, a burst of foul black blood sprayed out, and the headless general's steps began to stagger. Because he was not far from the edge of the stone platform, after a few steps, he directly stepped into the air, and the headless general fell down the mountain wall. This half-cliff was at a certain height from the ground. At this moment, the headless general did not struggle. His movements were somewhat mechanical and stiff, falling headfirst towards the ground. In an instant, a loud bang was heard, and the powerful inertia caused the long spear to penetrate the neck of the headless general, piercing through his body. At this moment, Liao Fengyi also saw the true nature of the headless general's movements. Because crawling out from the neck of the headless general was a creature that looked like a snake head, but with some differences. Without surprise, this should be a giant guardian. "Leave him to me, then I'll be going. Let's go. Don't disturb me while I'm dining." It turned out that the reason the headless general, without a place for the soul to reside, could move like a living person was not because of any extraordinary ability of Duxianjin, but rather this monster manipulating him from within. The appearance of the guardian coincided with the intentions of the nine-headed Zhao. Seeing the shining eyes of the nine-headed Zhao, Liao Fengyi didn't hesitate. He leaped off the stone platform and broke through the encirclement. "Quick, let's descend the mountain." "No, head north. Go to the edge of the big lake." With the nine-headed Zhao blocking the way in front, the group suddenly found it much easier to escape, smoothly breaking free from the multiple layers of siege. But next, the shamanic dragon cult was bound to engage them in a life-and-death battle. Aside from whether Liao Fengyi could rescue his master, the ambiguous identity of Master Wuhui was a hidden bomb. The legendary tale of the Immortal Mountain has finally reached its climax.